Stop. Seriously, come on, stop playing. Be for real. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's take out my glasses.
For what? Leave them on.
Because I glare.
Crazy.
You hear me? You think the glare is bad?
Hey, loves.
Stop playing.
Okay.
Hey loves, so as requested, we're going to do a basic training video. So me and my husband are doing this together because I went to basic in 2010. I was in the Army National Guard. And when did you go to basic?
2012.
And what
I was active duty, Army.
Okay. So I went to basic August 25th, 2010, and I went to Fort Jackson.
I went to basic February 27th, 2012, and I went to Fort Leonard Wood.
Where's that at?
It's in Missouri.
And
Fort
mine
Boston Woods.
Mine is in, they call mine Fort Relaxing Jackson. That's what they call it. But
sure
mine was
is.
in South Carolina. Don't be a hater. You know what? I'm glad we're doing this video because he liked to talk crap, but we gonna really talk about basic. So I went to basic in 2010. He went to basic in 2012. Okay, so both Army, but the crazy thing is, our basic trainings were so different. Like mine was really strict. Like, you know, I know the Air Force because I'm Air National Guard, but I know the Air Force calls it base lib, where you can, you know, you get to go out on a base on your own. I think it's after like after a few weeks or something like that. That's just what I've heard because I didn't go to Air Force basic training. But for us, we only had a family day, and that was, I think it was either right before or right after graduation. So there was no roaming on a base or base liberty. There was no freedom when I was in basic training. You know, you pretty much had freedom to do your hygiene, eat all your food, and that's pretty much it. Do what you're told. When you're told, how you're told. Like, I can't tell you how many times I remember my drill sergeant saying, pinch it off. If you was in the bathroom for too long. So we really didn't have freedom like that. Like, we couldn't eat the candy in our MREs. None of that. So I feel like my number one piece of advice would be to be flexible, to be ready for whatever, whenever, you know, because it's like things will always change, number one. And number two, you're not in control anymore. You know, you don't belong to yourself because you signed your life away. And you're really going to see the extent of that when you go to basic training, because they're going to tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, or at least when I went, that's how it was.
Mine was similar. Only difference was I was a 31 Bravo, which is a MP or military police. So I did OSUT training, or one station unit training. So my basic training was similar, but I did my AIT at the same place. Same company, same drill sergeant, so nothing changed for me. We got a little more freedom once we hit AIT, but for the most part in basic training it was similar. We couldn't eat the candy in our MREs. The first time we got candy was maybe like blue phase, and you'll see like it go red, white, blue. If you go to OSUT, it would be black and gold after that. But yeah, we didn't get our first piece of candy until blue phase. So imagine going 9 weeks without having any candy, or, you know what I'm saying? Just imagine that, man. That's exactly how it is.
Now let me tell you, I have so many basic training stories. It's ridiculous. So I remember one time we had a pizza party. So we had a pizza party. It was a football game. And I feel like what it really was is our drill sergeants didn't want to watch us. So they gave us a pizza party. And I can't remember if we won something. I can't remember. But people were saying it was relaxed because of that. I ain't care. I remember, listen, I will never forget, I had me some Mountain Dew. It was the best Mountain Dew I have ever had in my life because I hadn't had it in so long. And then one time we went to a soldier show. We had candy there. Listen, at the soldier show, y'all, like,
relaxing.
I just feel like the way it made me feel and the way it still makes me feel is crazy. Like, there were soldiers performing. Like, they was singing, they was dancing, they was acting, they was acting like Michael Jackson, they was dressing up, doing it. Oh my gosh, it was just It was literally like, and you know, even with being married and having kids, it was one of the most amazing nights of my life. And then I had bought like a whole bunch of candy, but my candy was gone because you couldn't take it with you. And one time, a Snickers wrapper fell out of my pocket afterwards, and I'm like, it's almost got in so much trouble. But I'm like, it's from the soldier show. Like, I didn't have contraband, but a girl, she would bring us contraband. She would go, oh my gosh, here come Paris. But she would go to the vending machines and everything, and she would bring us pop and candy and everything. Listen, I go in that store and I'm like, I'll be tearing that candy up. Go away, snot nose.
Nope.
Okay.
You know what's funny about this whole soldier show thing? She claimed that, you know, Relaxing Jackson wasn't all, you know, relaxing. I heard about the soldier show, but we didn't get to go. And it came to Fort Leonard Wood too, but we weren't allowed to go.
Sucks to be you.
So it goes to show the difference.
I don't want you.
The difference between real basic training and Fort Jackson.
Around the time that he went, they had stress cards.
I didn't have a stress card.
If you felt stressed,
I didn't have
then
a
you
stress
could put up
card.
a stress card and they couldn't smoke you.
So that was a cycle before me. They tried it. It didn't work out. So they took it away. We didn't have stress cards. If we were stressed out, suck it up, Buttercup.
I remember when we first got to basic. Okay, when we first got there, it was this period. It's like a week called reception, and in that period, you really just got all of your like your uniforms and everything else like that. You went to the BX and got like running shoes, everything that you needed. But then we got on the bus, and they took us to the actual, you know, training place that we were going to be remaining, where the barracks were and everything else like that for basic. And the drill sergeants came on, like, I was already prepared. I was in an RSP unit, which is a recruitment sustainment program, and it was in North Canton, Ohio. Every Sunday they would, like, oh my gosh, it was called the Gauntlet, and you can actually look it up on YouTube. Every Sunday they would play this music. They'd be yelling in our faces, putting us on our face, making us do push-ups, flutter kicks, sit-ups. You know, you recite your general orders, your soldier's creed, and your warrior ethos. And it's like, if you did not know it, if you did not know it, you better know it, or else you were going to regret it. As soon as you get into the door, take your hat off, salute the flag, all that. It was just, it was hilarious, but I was prepared. So we get there, the drill sergeants come on the bus, acting crazy. I'm telling you, it's like, when I think back to it, it's like that music was playing. Of course it wasn't, but they was going off. Like, they yelling in people's faces, the girls crying. It was so funny. Like, I was trying not to laugh because I knew what to expect. So I wasn't scared, but I didn't think they would do that. So it definitely caught me off guard. But it was it was so funny. Then, like, when we had to carry our what are those called, the green things, our duffel bags over our heads. We had to carry our duffel bags over our heads.
I was about to say the rucksack.
Right, okay. We had to carry our duffel bags over our heads. And then if your battle buddy couldn't handle it, you had to help your battle buddy. Mind you, this is your first day meeting them. So it's like, I don't want to help them. I got my own issues. But they're like, there's people who couldn't carry it. You shouldn't have packed all that. And it was heavy. Then we get to the barracks. We low crawling. They have us stand in the line. Call your family, tell them you love them. They yelling. People scared, crying, I love you, as if they gonna never see their family again. It was crazy. It was fun.
So mine was kind of the same. When I was at Fort Leonard Wood, which is in Missouri. It's about 2 to 3 hours away from St. Louis. So we flew into St. Louis, and we had to get on a bus and drive at least 2 hours before we actually got there. So we didn't get to Fort Leonard Wood till maybe, my flight came in around like 10:30. And we stayed there for about an hour just waiting for the bus to come. So we didn't get to where we were supposed to be till the wee hours of the morning. And as soon as we got there, we got smoked. We got tore up. We got put right on our face, whatever. And turn around, we went to sleep around like maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock. I had to be up at 4:30. So be prepared to not get any sleep. Period. Yeah, you're gonna be very tired. All the time, all day, every day. You're going to be tired. Get as much sleep as you can. It's not a lot that you can get, so take advantage of it. But yeah, I mean, it was similar to that. I mean, we had to, when we were leaving to go to our actual unit, we had to do the same thing with the bags over our heads. If our battle buddy couldn't hold their bag, you had to help them out. Man, you shouldn't have packed all that stuff. All that type of stuff is the same. It's all like it's not a scare tactic, but it's a way to get into your head. Like, oh dang, why did I even pack all this stuff in the beginning? And it makes you start to think about certain stuff that you do as a civilian that you probably shouldn't do as a soldier. It prepares you for a lot of stuff. A lot of those small mental things prepares you for the bigger picture. But we got to our unit. I got the at that point I had to pick who was the most important person to call, and I called my mom. Mom, I love you. I gotta go. I only had 30 seconds, and the crazy thing is you only have 30 seconds to make one call, and you better hope that person answers, because you're not gonna have another chance to make that call. So by the time my mom answered, I was already at like 17 seconds. So I had 13 seconds to say, Mom, I love you, I gotta go. By the time I was done, I had a drill sergeant in my face telling me, hang up the phone, hang up the phone. And I had to hang up the phone, and that was it. I couldn't even hear my mama tell me she loved me back. It was just...
I didn't call anybody.
No.
I didn't have any minutes. I had a prepaid phone. I didn't have any minutes. And at that time, when I left home, me and my parents weren't on good terms. So the only person I probably would have called is Martez's dad. But I probably wouldn't even call him, because like right when I left, like he was on his own thing. So I didn't call anybody. And it was just like, you know, people were saying like, I didn't even get to talk to my family. And I was just like, I didn't have anybody to call. So it was just like, even if I did, I didn't have any minutes to call nobody. So basic training, it was a hard time for me, because part of the reason it was a hard time for me because of things, the way I left home. And I just felt really alone. I felt really alone, and just on my own. I felt like I sent off, I don't know how many letters. I think like 7, and I only got like 2 back until, mind you, I went in August, and I sent off the letters. I want to say it was the beginning of September, and I got my first letter like middle or end of, no, I'm sorry. I got 2 letters back, and then I got some more like the end of, from different people at the end of like October. And by then I was just like, you know, I didn't even want to talk to them. Like, you know, like, I been wrote you. Like, why didn't you write me? And it was just really hard, because when it was like mail call and stuff like that, I didn't get any mail. So I really didn't like that time. And it was just like, I don't know. I just was like, it was just a hard time for me, to be honest. Just mentally and emotionally, it was really hard. Before I left, my parents had full custody of my niece and my nephew. And, like, I had them a lot. You know, I graduated when I was 17. I graduated in January. And, you know, they would be at home with me. I would get up in the morning. I would get them ready, you know, all that. And, like, it really took a toll on me leaving them. And I just felt alone. Like, I just felt alone. Like, I didn't have nobody. And nobody had my back. But it was just so crazy, because I feel like I just met some of the most amazing people who really had my back, who understood me, who I felt like I could trust. I could talk to them. And it's like, even to this day, if they called me up, like, I got your back, because it's like they really had my back. Like, I remember I used to cry so much. And if you see my story time, you know, I was pregnant in basic training. Of course, I didn't know that. But I think that also, I'm already an emotional person, so I feel like that also took another toll. I feel like that also took another toll. You know, just being emotional, then pregnant on top of that. And it was the best time of my life, but it was a really, really, really hard time in my life.
It's the best of times, and it's the worst of times.
Yes. So let's just go ahead and start listing off our advice. So, do not bring contraband. Like, oh my goodness, people had condoms. Like, why are you bringing condoms to basic training?
Peanut butter. Dude got caught. We got back from the defect, and he snuck some peanut butter into the bay.
I mean, like when you pack, like when you actually get there, like when you get off the flight, they going through your stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or at least when I went, they was going through your stuff.
Is that a shot?
And it's not a shot because, you know, I went almost 10 years ago. You know, things have changed tremendously. But they went through our stuff like crazy, like everything. Empty out your stuff. People had condoms. Like, what you think you're gonna be doing here?
You know what they was thinking about doing.
Buy pack hygiene products. That's like one of the main things that you need to have, hygiene products, and I think you need to have like $25 cash, or at least that's what they told us. Be prepared to lose friends and not hear from people. Like I said, when I went, I felt really alone, and it was a lot of friends that I thought I had that I really didn't have. I didn't hear from them, you know, just I didn't hear from them. I thought they was my friends. I thought they had my back. They didn't. I found out a whole bunch of stuff when I got out of basic, because, you know, basic I don't have my cell phone. I can't talk to people. I wasn't on social media or nothing, but I found out a lot of stuff when I got back. And if your family sends you like snacks and goodies and stuff like that, you know, it could go one of a few ways. You could get chewed out for it. Your drill sergeant might like you because, you know, every time you get goodies, they'll take them and eat them. And, you know, they always want to see what's in your mail, and you might be a favorite. Or, you know, you might even have one time where, you know, you can share it with your platoon. Keep your head down and do your job to the very best of your ability. You want to fly up under the radar. If you get noticed for something good, that is good. But you want to do your best, but you don't want them to point you out, especially not for doing nothing bad. And even sometimes if you get pointed out for doing something good, you know, just be ready to take on leadership roles, leadership positions, and to be voluntold, because there is no, you can't say no. So they'll, it's like they're volunteering you, but they're telling you because you ain't getting out of it. If they tell you to do something, you got to do it. Remember and realize what you're there for. You're there to protect and serve. So to train, to protect and serve, to protect and serve not only your country, but the people that are in it. And you agreed to be broken as a civilian, only to be built as a soldier. And that's a process. It's definitely a process, and it's not an easy process. And at times it will not be a fun process, but, you know, it's what you signed up for and it's what you agreed to. And in the end, it works out for your betterment. Before you go, learn the soldier's creed, your warrior ethos, and your general orders. That'll definitely help you, because if you stand out for not knowing that, that's like not knowing like the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem. You need to know that for sure. Do not get contraband at the BX. Don't do it. They'll find it. You know, they do random shakedowns, and if they find that, you'll be in some trouble. Learn to sound off. When it comes to calling cadence, and that's something that is really after my heart, learn to sound off. Open your mouth. You know, when you call cadence, it's pride. It's having pride. It's sounding off. You know, it's you speaking to be heard. You know, it's like I'm here. I'm here. All right. You better let them know you there. I was noticed for calling cadence.
Cause she can sing, y'all.
I was noticed for calling cadence, and since I was noticed for calling cadence, I was voluntold to march the flight, or I'm sorry, I'm combining Army Air Force, march the platoon. And they like, oh, you nervous? Oh my gosh, more. And then when I did it, they was like, oh, you better than the drill sergeants. My dad was in the Army, and I grew up in a church, so I sing, but I kind of like put some soul with my cadences. Be quiet. I put some soul with my cadence when I call cadence, and I'm loud. I sound off, and like I'm a leader, so it was just like ain't nothing to it but to do it. And they couldn't believe it. My drill sergeant, she like, okay, that was all right. No, honey, I was better than you.
Don't have the attitude.
Hey, if you got it, you got it.
You got it, but don't have the attitude. You get smoked.
Oh, I had the attitude. You think I got smoked? I sure did not, because everybody couldn't believe it. All my drill sergeants couldn't believe it.
That's because she was out relaxing.
That's your troop. That's your troop. No, that's because your drill sergeants will have pride in you for that. When you have pride about what you're doing, your uniform, before I got to basic, I knew my soldier's creed, my warrior ethos, my general orders. I knew it all because I was prepared at my recruitment sustainment program. And even a captain, she's always squared away. When it came down to my hair, my uniform, everything, I was always squared away. For the most part. I'm not going to say always. Get in shape before you go. Before I left, I think I had lost like anywhere from like 10 to 20 pounds. I lost a lot of weight. Just training at the recruitment sustainment program, and then I would run on a treadmill and go to the gym daily. Because I knew I had to prepare myself. I knew I was going there and I didn't want to look like a fool. And it still wasn't the easiest, but I could hang. So that's cool. Like I said, be flexible. Things in basic combat training, it's a completely different world. Completely different world. Literally, it's literally a whole nother world. From the clothes that you wear to the food that you eat to the way you interact with people as well as your superiors, it's a whole nother world. And it's like, to be honest, you have to remember that Uniform Code of Military Justice, because that puts you under a whole new set of rules. And if you get in trouble, do something crazy, you don't fall under the government. You fall up under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And, you can go to jail, and that jail is different. And you can, it's a lot of small reasons that you can just disrespect can get you in some trouble under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So do what you need to be doing. Be prepared to lead. Even if you feel like you aren't a leader, they will volunteer you what to do. And as a female, don't be girly. From the way you laugh, to the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you do your hands, watch it. I can't lie, I got caught out for that. And I never thought I was a girly girl. But for me just doing that, I got smoked for that. And I'm like, dang, I was just laughing. Like, what did you expect me to do? But yeah, I got in trouble for that. Work hard and earn your right to be there. A lot of times people will say, as a female, you shouldn't be there. Sometimes, it has been known that some females have used what they got to get what they wanted or what they wanted to be. And you earn your right to be there.
Players Club.
Bye. But seriously, I earned my right to be there. And I learned that from my drill sergeant. Her name was Drill Sergeant Parker. I never forget her. But she was tough. She was tough. And she told me, you got it. Don't ever use what you got to get to where you want to be. You work hard. You put the work in. And I never forgot that. And I will always put the work in, because it's like, this is where I want to be. And you're going to know I'm here. And you're going to know I'm here because of what I've done. Not from my actions as a soldier. Not my actions from me laying on my back or nothing crazy like that. I ain't with that. And be willing to pull your own weight. It was so many females where before we even got to a 3 count, the push-ups, 1, 2, 3, 1. Before we even got to 1, they crying. No, because it's like, it just makes us look weak, in my opinion. Now, you may not agree with that, but I just feel like, to me, in the military, when I put on that uniform, I'm not a female. I'm not an individual. I represent what's on what I wear, across my heart. That's what I represent. Whether it was U.S. Air Force or the U.S. Army, that's what I represented. I represented the United States, and my job was to protect and serve. I didn't care who it was, for those who didn't have a voice or whatever else. That was my job. And I loved that job. I loved it. I was willing and I was ready to protect and serve, because that's what I signed up for. Of course, if you watch my video, I didn't want to, but, it ended up, me liking it, so it worked out. Try to bring hair necessities, and try to prior plan what you're going to do with your hair and everything, because a lot of females got caught out for their hair. Make sure you bring sanitary napkins. Make sure you bring stuff for your hair. Try to prior plan what you're going to do with your hair and all types of stuff like that. Gel is going to be your very best friend. Make sure you have shampoo and conditioner as well, because when you're doing PT, your head is in the ground, you're sweating and everything. So I would actually wash my hair every day. And even as a black girl, I would wash my hair every single day, and then I would make sure I would shampoo it real good. I would condition it real good, and then I would put some grease in it. I would moisturize it, and I would put some jam in it and just slick it right back into a ponytail. And my mom wouldn't let me get a relaxer when I was a young girl, but I actually got a relaxer right before I went to basic, so my hair would be more manageable. When you get your weapon, do not say gun. Do not say gun. You'll get chewed out. Your weapon is a weapon. whether we got an M16, is that what y'all got?
M4.
Oh, well, they're very similar, but it's your weapon. And your drill sergeant is not your friend. No matter how much you feel like y'all getting along or whatever else, they are not your friend. Remember that. Learn rank before you get there, because you need to know when to call at ease, when to call attention, when to call attention. You need to say when to say, you need to know when to say sergeant or yes sir or yes ma'am. You know, just the difference between non-commissioned officers, senior non-commissioned officers, and as well as just commissioned officers. Don't cry in front of your drill sergeant. Holding your emotions. Don't let them see you sweat, because that's what they want to do. And if they see that, it's like sharks smelling blood. They going for more. They love it. And then even when you have get your set of friends, I'm not saying be cliquey, but realize that you can't trust everybody. Some people are snitches. Some people are brown nosers. But just know that you can't trust everybody. Let me see what else. Respect the cadre and follow the rules. I remember when I was in basic, this girl, I want to say her name so bad, but she called my drill sergeant a B word. But this is a crazy thing. She didn't call her that to her face. She had just got in trouble, and my drill sergeant got in there behind, and then she walked away, and she mouthed the word. But the crazy thing is, it was like drill sergeants from every area. They heard her, and they was on her neck. Like she was literally surrounded by drill sergeants. They got their hand, and they just in her face, just going off. It was crazy. Later on, we had combatives, and my drill sergeant was like, "More, get her." I had to tear her up. I had to tear her up. My drill sergeant told me to do it, and she called my drill sergeant out her name. You know, me and my drill sergeant, we didn't even get along like that. But you're not gonna disrespect what's mine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Like I said, follow the rules. Now, you do what they say when they say it, how they say it. This one girl fell asleep on a Sunday. It was free time, but you wasn't allowed to sleep. She got smoked in the sand pits. And y'all, I'm sorry, but it was so funny. It was so funny. I was the only one laughing. Everybody like, that's not funny. But it's like, her bed was right by the door. So as soon as the drill sergeant came in, they seen her. Like, if y'all supposed to be her friends, y'all shouldn't let her fall asleep, number one. Number two, you the dummy who fall asleep right at the door, and he walk in and see you, so you get smoked. And they take that very seriously, because if you're in combat, you need to be able to have that self-discipline, you know, that because that basic combat training, it trains you for combat. Nothing and no one is worth you losing your career, your pay, or your time. And you know, the discipline that you get is like Article 15. Like I said, you can use your time. You have to do extra duty. Your pay, they'll take your pay. They'll take your rank. Y'all, quick story, I almost got an Article 15. I'm not even about to tell the story. I'm not going to tell the story right now. I'm going to tell it another time. I almost got into some serious trouble playing too much. Playing, being childish, and being goofy. I almost got into some serious trouble. And my drill sergeant told me the only reason why I didn't get in trouble is because I was a squared away soldier. So me being squared away paid off, because I could have got in some serious trouble. Always maintain your military bearing. Always, always, always maintain your military bearing, because you might get into it with people. You might have an argument. You might have a disagreement. But you need to maintain your composure. Keep your hands to yourself. Watch what you're saying. You know, you need to have that discipline. You need to realize that you're accountable for yourself, and you can just redirect that energy to work and whatever else. Remember, at the end of the day, this is a job, and you're getting paid to do it. This is not just you being here and volunteering. You're actually getting paid for this, healthcare and everything else like that. So, you know, just remember that, because at the end of the day, it gets hard, but remember, I'm getting paid for this. I signed up for this. There's benefits to this. And, you know, it'll pay off. It'll pay off in the end. If you aren't sure, do not do it. And another thing I want to tell y'all to learn is your Army values. And I still remember those Army values, because they are still so important to me. And those Army values, I believe the acronym is leadership. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. 7. LDRSHIP. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. I feel like I live by those. When I learned those, they were so important to me that I never forgot them, and I try to live by those on a daily basis, because I try to remain loyal. I try to have integrity. I try to have honor. I try to remember, I have a duty that I need to fulfill, and just all that other stuff. I learned a lot from the military that I do on a daily basis now.
It's my turn. I'll start off by saying, prepare yourself for the worst. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but a lot of people go into basic training with like these high hopes, thinking that everything's gonna be all good. I'm gonna get through basic training. I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be that. And it doesn't always happen. Not because you aren't giving 100%, but it might just be somebody that's just better at doing what you're doing. So, and that might be the worst to you. So sometimes what you have to do is just prepare yourself to expect failure. Because at the end of the day, that's what basic training is supposed to do. It's supposed to help you cope with failure and get stronger from failure. At the end of the day, that's what it's doing. It's building you up to be successful or be a soldier. I'll go off of what she said too. You want to work out before you go. I was working out about 4 times a week, and I still wasn't prepared. The type of conditioning and the type of running, type of push-ups. I mean, at the end of the day, all you're doing is push-ups, sit-ups, and running. It doesn't sound like a lot, but the different variations that they use when it comes to push-ups and sit-ups, and how slow you're going or how fast you're going, running 2 miles one day and then running 5 the next day. Then you have these things called 61-20s where you sprint for 60 seconds and then you jog for 120. Like, it's just different ways to build your body up. So I say work out at least 4 times a week. That way you at least have a chance to keeping up. It still might not be enough, but it at least gives you a better chance. Next one is again, breaking you down to build you up. Let them. It's probably going to be the hardest part of basic training, is letting them literally tear you down from what you are, from what you took 18 years for you to build, and then just letting somebody just tear it down. And not even with physical action, with just words, and with them just having just complete authority over you. As kids, we grew up where we had to listen to our parents as kids. Then we get to when we're 18, 19, 20, 21, where nobody can tell me nothing, I'm grown. And then you sign up for the military. And here you are with your grown self having to listen to somebody that might be 2-3 years older than you. And you have to completely submit to that person. Not even because of they're better than you. Because, like she said, she called Kata's better than one of her drill sergeants. But it's simply because of a respect level, the authority level, because of what they wear on their chest, because of the things that they've been through already. They've already taken the path that allowed us to go through the things that we're going through now. So it's just about respect. And that brings me to my next subject. Don't ever challenge a drill sergeant. You won't win. Period.
Even if they're wrong.
Even if they're wrong. They can be wrong clear as day. They can tell you the sky is green. You look up like, oh no, the sky blue. You better not even let that come out of your mouth. That sky, yes, drill sergeant, that sky is green. I see it with my own eyes. And that's it. Don't challenge them. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a respect thing. You might have challenged your parents. You might have challenged your teachers, but it's completely different when it comes to drill sergeant. These are people that possibly kill people. Like, for real. They possibly kill people. Like, I had one drill sergeant. He went through, they had like some type of competition where it determined who had the best shot in the military. And he went through the entire competition and didn't miss a single shot. So you're dealing with those type of people. People that have seen things, people that have been through things that nobody could ever imagine. So just to think about challenging them, that's not a smart idea. at all. My next thing for the fellas, take a shower every day
And shave.
and shave. I had a shaving profile, so I didn't have to shave every day. And to my black men, you'll understand that just because when we shave, you have to shave a certain way. We can't shave every day.
Black men, I guess they have like more sensitive skin.
It's sensitive
so
skin.
it'll break out real bad.
Right. Our hair is very curly, so now, of course, not all black men, but for the majority, most black men, our hair on our faces are curly, so we can't shave every day because our hair will end up growing back into our skin, which will cause what they call ingrown hairs. It's like some type of medical term for it. I forget, but I had a shaving profile in basic training. I probably wasn't supposed to have one, but I broke out so bad to where like my face physically.
Yeah, it was a lot of guys.
It was painful.
Well, it was a lot of black guys when I went who had shaving relievers.
Yeah, but for the most part, if that's not a problem for you, make sure that should be. When I say shower, I don't mean like because you're going to stink. I don't mean that at all. You're going to stink, yes, but appearance is everything. Your appearance is everything. You can be a terrible soldier, but if you look squared away, that might take precedence over you being a terrible soldier. Like, seriously, your uniform, the way you carry yourself, speaks volumes in the military. Having pride. I've known people that was in the military that couldn't read a lick, could barely speak English, but they were squared away when it came to their look. And their way they carried themselves, they were very proud to be a soldier. Your upkeeping, that's showing how proud you are of having that uniform on. That's exactly what that's doing. If I went into the military like this, that I don't care about what I do, at all. I don't care, and that's something that when it comes to promotions, when it comes to going to Soldier of the Month boards, and that's down the line. But when it comes to being a platoon guy and stuff like that, those are the most squared away soldiers. Those are the soldiers that take care of their look and also may take care of their shot group and all that type of stuff like that. But for the most part, that's what you want to keep up on. Again, fellas, don't worry about the girls, because believe me, there might be something that's there for that, but for the most part, they're not thinking about you. They thinking about getting through the day just like you are. Because lo and behold, they might be getting it worse than you. No disrespect to the women, but just because of them being women, they get treated worse or get it harder because there's already thought that they might not stand up next to a man. When in actuality, some of the best soldiers I've come across have been women, just because of women are naturally strong. They're naturally able to handle that type of.
Go ahead.
Wow. I just got threw off. Thank you. But yes, they're women endure a lot everywhere, in the workplace, in the world. I mean, I know that's very vague, but
having babies.
Like seriously, they go through a lot.
Not getting paid the same.
They don't get paid the same, and a lot of women in basic training, they might not say it or show it, but for the most part, it seems like a lot of women that go to basic training already have kids, and women have to pretty much give up custody in order to go to basic training. They have to give them to some, unless they're married, they have to give their kid to a legal guardian for that time. Like literally have to sign papers to do that. And I'm sure some loopholes somewhere, but for the most part, that's what they have to do. And they have to put their trust into someone to actually give their kid back. So think about that, fellas. You might be attracted to them, but they probably have a lot more in their mind than thinking about.
Even then, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Getting recycled, which means that everything that you'd already been through, you got to go back through it.
And do it.
Getting recycled, getting your pay taken. A girl wrote him a letter, and because he got caught with it, they both got in trouble. He didn't even do nothing, but they both got in trouble. Right. They got recycled, got rank taken away, pay taken away, time taken away from extra duty. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
It's not. And ladies, that I'll circle to you then. Remember why you're there.